Okay, welcome everybody to the 2024 Adult 65 and Over Section Championship Captains Meeting. Thanks for being on. Again, apologies for whatever that crazy was. I still have no idea why that link didn't work. It wouldn't let Laura either one in. So anyway, we appreciate you kind of hanging with us. I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to show you. This is really laid back. If you guys have been on these before, you know, ask all the questions you want. Jump in. You can use your microphone. You can turn your microphone on and jump in, or you can pop it through the chat. We're happy to answer all the questions. We want to make sure that you are good and prepared and feel really comfortable coming into the championship this coming weekend. So I'm going to hit share my screen here. All right. Can you guys see that? The blue Get Competitive Play Tennis?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I can no longer see you guys, so you might have to grab my attention.
I can help
Okay.
there.
That's now I have, there we go. Okay, as I said, this is the adult 65 and over section championship captains meeting. Welcome and thank you very much for coming and being captains and organizing all your people during the year. We know that can be kind of difficult sometimes and it can be a little crazy. Hopefully it's well worth it. And we know that we could not do what we do without you. So we do appreciate you guys coming up all year long. This is the National Invitational schedule. There is a link I will send as a PDF, and you'll be able to cut through the link so that you can get direct access to this calendar as well. So the adult 65 and over 7-0s, you guys nationally will play January 24th through 26th in Surprise. The 6-0s and 9-0s, January 31st through February 2nd in Surprise, and the 8-0s play February 14th through 16th in Surprise, Arizona. Our section, oh, I got to change, it says district. Sorry about that. I'll change that. Our 65 and over section championship is this coming weekend. We're playing in Maine at Maine Pines Racket and Fitness and Foreside Fitness. Laura, who is on this call, is the site director at Maine Pines, so you guys will see her face. And also our Vermont local league coordinator, Jennifer Weiss, will be there hanging out and helping out. And at Foreside Fitness is Edsel Ford, who wasn't able to be on today, but if you guys have been around a while, I'm sure you've known Edsel. He works out at Ludlow in Western Mass and has done a ton of championships. So look for him, say hi, and check in at Foreside Fit with him. During the championship, we mostly communicate with everybody in person when you come up to the table, but we do also use phone calls and texts if something happens and we need to get a hold of you. So when you check in, when you first check in, if you can just double check your cell phone number on the information that we have as a captain so that we can definitely get a hold of you if we need to. We also do put some things on the Captain's Hub, and that's a hyperlink into the Captain's Hub as well. So if you need more information, you can go there at any time. Okay, so what to expect when you first get to your club is your check-in. So we really like everybody to be in at least 45 minutes before your first match. It gives us time to give everybody their scorecards. So you'll get your scorecards for the whole weekend and your player gifts, and then also gives you time to fill out that scorecard or the your match lineup card and hand it back in so that the staff at the desk have time to check everything, get matches out. So after that, all the rest of your matches, we just need your lineup 30 minutes early and your players there ready to go. That 45 minutes is just before your scheduled first match. While you're at the tournament desk, please make sure that you ask your tournament staff any questions there as a staff to help, to assist, to make sure that you have a great experience. So use your tournament staff to answer questions and just help keep moving on in the tournament. For your match times, please have your players there ready to go 30 minutes prior to the time. It helps us keep on time and the tournament running smoothly. We do try to get everybody out early if possible. That way, if a match runs long, we still are within our buffer for the next time frame of matches. And it just keeps everything running smoothly. So for those of you that have ever been to a tournament where it got a little late, it does get a little frustrating. So if you can have your players there ready to go 30 minutes early, that would be great. The players will need to provide a government issued ID prior to playing. So just tell your players to hang on to it. They don't need to check in at the desk necessarily. They come find you when they get there. But when we call them up to play right before they go on court, we're going to ask for their ID. And that way we make sure whoever is listed on the lineup card is the person that's going out on the court. So they'll just need a driver's license, passport, something that's government issued with a picture. On the court, we ask everybody, please be a good sport. We haven't had many problems this year, but once in a while things do get a little heated. We do, again, have your tournament staff there. If there is any kind of a dispute, please have your players come up to the desk and talk to us. Because there's no coaching of any kind, they can't come up and talk to you, or they can't come up and talk to other players about a dispute. They need to come up to the tournament desk and ask the tournament staff. Let everybody know they do get a 10-minute warm up on court. That does include serves. Sometimes it doesn't seem like enough, and most people kind of warm up a little bit in the lobbies and kind of do some stretching in there too. But the 10 minutes is the maximum amount of time, and that does include serves. Once the match is complete, let your players know that somebody from each team needs to immediately leave the court. Everybody needs to immediately leave the court and come to the tournament desk. They need to report scores. Somebody from each team, the winning team and the losing team, need to initial the scorecard, and then they need to return the balls. Under no circumstances can they sit on court and watch other matches. That doesn't tend to happen until about the last matches of the day when everything gets a little more lax. But it's not fair for some teams to be able to sit on court and watch if we can't do it all day. So they need to immediately come up and report the scores. It also, again, helps keep us on time. If we know that courts are open, we can send teams out fairly immediately. Once the entire match is complete, all three of your lines are done. Captains, we need you to come up, double check the scores one more time, make sure that the players have reported the scores correctly, the winning team that's supposed to be there is circled correctly, and sign your scorecard once you have verified that. Once it is signed, then we can put it into Tennis Link, and it'll show up for you guys in the standings. The match format is so everybody, we do round robin formats. If there are quarters, semis, or finals, those are all head to head. You're going to play 2 out of 3 regular sets. That's with add scoring. You're going to play a 10-point Komen tiebreak in lieu of a set. So if you split sets, it's a 10-point Komen tiebreak. If it gets to 6-all in either set, it's a 7-point Komen tiebreak. And if you need help with Komen tiebreak, if that's not something you normally do in your local area, again, please come up to the tournament desk, grab one of us. We're happy to pop on and help out with the Komen tiebreak. There are no time limits on these matches, so you play them out until you're done. Again, that might be different from your local area on how you guys play. So just know that there's no time limit on your matches. You will switch on the odd games. We are playing indoors this year, which I think since I started the first time we played the 65s indoors. So that's sometimes that's always a question about switching up when we play indoors. So you're going to switch on the odd games. And this is a no default championship, which means that we expect you to field all 3 lines throughout the championship. And it,
That line does end up getting
so
defaulted
if for
throughout.
some reason on your third doubles team, you don't have another person, somebody gets hurt, you don't have anybody to replace them, then the rest of the matches on that your third doubles line, whether you've already played them or not, end up going to the other team so that there's no mathematical advantage for any of the other teams in the round robin. I'm going to kind of pause there because that was a lot. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. We will keep on. Okay. For section and national advancement, I wanted to put this in here because this is an invitational at the national level, which means they have different regulations when it comes to the number of matches that need to be played in order to advance. For USTA New England, for the section championship, all NTRP types need to have 2 matches played on the same team and 1 can be a default. That has been the same for all the championships. It has been that way for a long time, so that's not any different than it's been in the past. I will say for those of you that Southern Connecticut, though, this is different than Eastern's regulations. So make sure that your players have 2 matches. 1 can be a default, but they have to have been in 2 matches during the local season. Retired match counts for all players involved, and you need a minimum of 6 players for each match so that all of your lines are filled. If you advance to the national championship, which is the second block, I will change the wording on that. Sorry about that. Again, it's the same amount, 2 matches played on the same team, 1 can be a default. The only one of the differences for national invitationals that are from national championships is that you're going to play at your rostered rating, even though the championship comes after year-end ratings are run. So no matter what NTRP type, this is at the national level, no matter what NTRP type your players are, whether they go up or down at year-end ratings, what they played during the local season is what they would play at the national invitational. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I'll change the wording on that second square. I should have put national in before all NTRP types. So I'll clarify that before I send it out to you guys. I like to leave this one in. You guys know we have a national suspension point system now. So if there are any grievances or any code violations during the championship, it could lead to national suspension points. This on the bottom, the link to the national grievance suspension points documents just give you more information. That's for all the local leagues and all of the championships that we have. I don't really expect to have to use any of that or need any of that, but it's there for your reference. Okay, medical timeouts. I should put this slide on a gray slide because this is where the biggest amount of gray area happens to be. Technically, a medical timeout consists of evaluation time and treatment time. And the treatment time can be no more than 3 minutes for a maximum of 15 minutes. Part of the problem for us in the league department is these medical timeouts were created for tournaments that have a head referee and roving officials and also a medical staff. We don't have either of those. So if something happens on your court, we're asking for a little bit of grace and a little bit of time for one of our staff to come out. We're not going to do any kind of medical evaluation, but we're going to talk to the player. We're going to see how they feel. And once we get out there, they're going to get 3 minutes to decide if they need to retire or if they can go. That maximum of 15 minutes, depending on how long it takes for somebody to come up from your court to get us, for us to get out on the court, that could kind of deviate a little bit. Bleeding in any way also could take a little more time because of the cleanup. So just know that we're doing our best, but we are not medical people. Also, note that a medical condition, injury, illness, cramping, is considered one medical timeout. But if you have cramps in your left leg and you take a medical timeout, and then you have cramps later in your right leg, you cannot take an additional medical timeout. The cramping is considered cramping. So in the second instance, if you had to stop, that would be considered a retirement at that point. And your staff on site will know these things as well. You won't have to have any of this memorized. Just know that if somebody on your court gets hurt, please have somebody else from the court pop up and grab one of the staff to help out. And most of the time, we do get a little bit of information from people that are watching through the windows as well. But it does help know what actually happened, and somebody on court is usually the best person to tell us what happened. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, you're quiet tonight. Just some basics. No courts are available for practice before or during the championships. We just don't have enough courts for everybody, so it's not fair for some people to have courts and other people to not have courts. On Friday, we consider the start of the championship 1 hour before the first match starts. So we're not going to monitor if you rent courts at 7 in the morning on Friday. We are, though, once staff gets there, going to kick people off if they happen to be there. So that's that. It's always on Friday that people ask. But 1 hour before the first match is scheduled is when we consider the championship to have been starting. Bathrooms and showers are open at the sites, but please bring plenty of water and snacks with you. There will be water at the facilities, but you just kind of never know what's going to happen. Make sure you bring plenty of water. Clear liquids only allowed on court. If we spill coffee, if we spill red Gatorade and it stains the courts, it's really hard to clean up. And these facilities are really doing us a favor by letting us use them in their busy September timeframe. So we want to keep them as clean as possible. So please, clear liquids only on the court. I always say check the weather and plan accordingly depending on the drive, but you guys can all pop into that and see how the weather's going and what's going with that. Does anybody have any other questions about anything?
I do. Go ahead. Just wondering, if someone needs to go to the bathroom, it's after the first set, correct? In between sets?
You can actually go to the bathroom at any time at any time. We prefer, I mean, it would be great if you could wait in between sets, but our rules do not preclude you. I mean, if you got to go to the bathroom, you have to go to the bathroom. So there's no rule on that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Christy, is there a time limit for in between sets?
Yes. In between the first and the second set is, I'm going to say this. My recollection is that it's 2 minutes. I will do some research and I'll let you know when I send this out. I will double check. I think it's 2 minutes between the first and the second set.
That's what I remember too, Christy. It's
Okay.
2 minutes.
Yep.
Yep.
Also, just so you guys know, if you have anybody on your team, because we're going to ask everybody to turn their phones off or on silent, and also put their, if they've got Apple Watches, to put those on airplane mode. If you happen to have anybody on your team that has a medical need for their phone to be on, like we've had a couple of people in the past who were diabetic and needed to leave it on to check, please let your site staff know before they go out on court. And they don't have to say what the medical issue is. But we just don't want somebody checking their phone and somebody else being upset because it looks like they're being coached or they're checking their, checking on something that's helping them. It needs to be a medical reason. So just tell your site staff at the time that there might be an issue with the phone when you guys get there. So these are a few links. There's a captain's Facebook page that we try to post some things on as much as possible. The important documents, regulations, that's the ShowPad link that has your schedules on it. That has the most updated information. So if there is a change, that gets updated even before Tennis Link. So know that those schedules are the most updated, and the link is live. There's a link to the USTA New England online store. So if you'd like to buy shirts or merchandise or cups, 10% of all of the proceeds for the online store go to the New England Tennis and Education Foundation, which helps us help kids in underserved communities learn to play tennis. And then another link to the Captain and Player Hub, which just has all sorts of information. We also know that the USTA.com website's not so easy to navigate. So we have the Captain and Player Hub, which has a lot more easily found information, not just about championships, but about everything else. So those will be in your packet when you get it in the morning with this recording as well. All right, photos. We love photos. Our marketing staff is not going to be at this championship. So if you'd like to take photos and would like to share your photos, this picture that's on here is actually a hyperlink live photo drive that you can just upload photos into, which would be great. And then hopefully we can share them out on social. And you can share it with your players. It is open to anybody. And we would like to hear stories. So if there are stories behind the photos, if you guys have a great story about your team, about how you guys came together, about how long you've been friends, we would love to have some of those stories to put out instead of just, we love who wins and who's going to nationals, but we really believe that league play is more about friendships and experiences. And I don't think that that gets out there a whole lot. So please, if you have photos and would love to share, please do so. All right. And good luck, everybody. So that is that. I'm going to stop sharing, I think. There we are. So that's it for the just kind of the PowerPoint. Did I miss anything? Does anybody have any questions about other things?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
The information sent out with the original schedules, I think under the frequently asked questions, stated that your goal was to have 4 team flights and you would only have a 3-team flight as a last resort. Well, in our age group and level, there's a 4-team flight and a 3-team flight. Why is there a 3-team flight?
We had no other wild cards. We checked with all of the other local areas, and there was nothing that we couldn't find anybody to come as a wild card.
Even the other main team refused to go?
Yeah, we couldn't get anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's last resort, I guess.
It is. Yeah, I know we've had since I started, Jim, we've had so much feedback about the 3-team flights, and we've really tried hard. And this year, I think this one, and I think we've only had 2 or 3 others. And I know it's so frustrating to be in a 3-team flight, and we apologize for that.
Well, my team is not in a 3-team flight, but the reason I'm asking is we have to play an extra match.
Oh.
And when you get to 65 and over, but I'm satisfied with you.
Okay.
Chrissy, I have a question.
Yeah.
I paid, we were originally in the 5-team flight, so I paid the $600, and now it's a 4-team flight because of 1 team dropping out. Will USTA reimburse me for that money?
Yeah, it typically is the Monday or Tuesday after the championship that you get your refund. And don't quote me on this, if I'm remembering, it's $150, I think.
It is, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that usually gets processed on Monday or Tuesday. If I can get it done this week, I will, because I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get refunds for that.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question. How do we follow, or where do we follow how our flight is doing with scores and winners? Do I go to Tennis Link, or is there that There's something at the club, I presume.
So we put everything on Tennis Link. We don't put anything out specifically at the club. And so when you can go through Tennis Link and do a championship search, which we can show you how to do. There also one of the apps will get you there also. If you use the app, I think it's the green one. I know that sounds odd. When you click on your team name, when you pull it up, it should click you all the way through the championships and get you to standings. So when
Okay.
you get on site, grab one of the staff members and have them help you out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you go also, Bernadette, if you have your computer and you just find your standings team page where your standings were from your regular season and scroll past your roster at the bottom, it would say championships, and there's the link to your flight at championships. Yep.
I muted. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks. Very good. Anything else, you guys? Okay, so I'm going to make a couple of changes to that PowerPoint where I missed some details. I'm going to make it, and I will send it out with the recording to this tomorrow. If you think of questions between now and then, feel free to email, let us know. Again, if you happen to have somebody that's going to be an acting captain, just let them know. They need to just tell their site staff so that we can get phone numbers. It's not a problem at all. We just need to know who they are and what team they're being the acting captain for. And that's really it. Yes.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for putting this all together, Christy. It's not an easy task, but we appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you so much. Yes, and I hope you guys have a great time. And I hope that the leaf peeping is perfect season and the weather is stunning so that you make a little tiny vacation out of it too.
Okay, good night.
Very good. All right.
Best of luck, everyone.
All right.
Thanks.
Right.
Have
everyone.
fun.
Thank you.
Thanks again.